Drafting worldwide, wide. Alright, welcome back to the Revit Garage project. In this lesson, I just kind of wanted to go over more so some design options for roofs rather than how to actually make a roof. So, and we'll do that lesson probably next, all the intricate details of making a roof, but I will hit upon some of those things in this video. I really wanted to kind of give you an idea of how you can make a building look completely different just by changing the roof around or changing the layout slightly. So I have 8 different options here, and whenever I look at this, the very first one is just a base option. That's, oh, and it says 30. Let me change that real quick here. This should be 40 feet, and this one should be 34 feet or 30 feet. So that's my base option that gives me about 1,154 square feet of total usable space. So in these options, basically all I did, and it's going to screw me up because I had that at 1170, so I could go through and I could make all these similar square footage. So something like that. I have just this little offset, and I have similar square footage, 1114 here. I undid that. So basically I can make all these different options. Here's a 2'8" option, here's a 4' option. And I just basically made this little bump out, some added corners, and then over in this one I made some little bump outs and added corners the whole way around. And I know as a designer, having worked with roofs a lot of different times, what this will actually look like whenever it comes to designing the roof. That's where you guys don't have that knowledge yet, and I want to make sure that you at least get an opportunity to see some of that, so you can start seeing how you can change the design just by making little offsets within the building. So I have all these different options. I'm basically just going to go through and I'm going to start doing some roofs on here, and then go to a 3D mode to show you what they would look like. So this one right here, and first of all we're going to focus on gable roofs. So I'm going to show you what a gable roof is real quick. I'm going to get my roof set up real quick. I'm going to click on roof, and you have created the roof on the lowest level. Would you like to move it to roof 1? So I could say yes, or what I could do is I could go click on the level roof 1 in my project browser over here. And I'm going to try to scrunch this down a little bit. Oh, there we go. So right now I'm looking at the level roof 1, and I can see my walls below. And it's asked me base level for the roof. I don't want it to be level 1. That's down on the ground. I want it to be roof 1. The rafter cut. I want a 2-cut plumb, which I'm sure you guys have no idea, but what that does, you can see I have fascia depth, 0 feet, 0 inches. So if I just do plumb cut, I don't get that option. If I do 2-cut square, then I do get that option there as well. What I want is 2-cut plumb, and we'll talk about that more later whenever we get into the actual roof properties. So before I get into any of that, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make our roof a little bit more like what we're actually using. So I picked this wood rafter, 8-inch asphalt shingle, insulated, and then I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to change the structure of this to a 3.5-inch stud rather than an 8 one, an 8-inch, which would be a rafter. So we're going to make this more of a truss. The other one's just asphalt shingles and plywood sheathing, and that's it. So I say okay. I should make a duplicate of that. Just going to call that my roof. And I say okay. And then the next part, after I have that set up, I'm going to make this fascia depth, I'm going to say 6 inches. Could probably be 4 inches as well. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to choose the walls that I want to make for this. And I'm going to make a 1-foot overhang. Pretty common. And I'm going to, right now my defined slope is checked. So on this one, I'm going to choose these two. And then on these sides, I'm going to uncheck that. And what that means is this wall and this wall will become my gable ends, and these two will be the roofs where it slopes from the sidewall. So right now it's a 9/12 roof pitch, so for every 12 inches of horizontal roof, it goes up 9 inches. So I'm just going to say okay, and then I'm going to take a look at this, and we have something kind of like that. I'll give you a little bit more detail on this. And then I'll just extend these walls, attach them up there, just for graphic purposes, so you can kind of see what this is going to look like. And I'll attach those. And get this rotated for... So very basic looking garage. Okay, so let me jump to another option. I'm going to go back to my plan view. That was that one. Just bring this one over here. And this is the exact same layout, 30 by 40, or close enough. I'm not going to change that right now. The only difference was I put the doors on the gable ends. And I'm going to make another copy of this to show you a third option as well. So on this one, again, I'm going to go to my roof layer and I'm going to choose roof. I'm going to use the same, my roof, same things. I don't have to set those up every time. This time, I'm going to have those two, these two over here. Actually, on this option, I'm just going to keep these two the same slope and just show you what it looks like from the opposite side. So again, I'll go to 3D, attach that and that. So the only difference between these two is on this one I have the doors on the gable end. On this one I have it in the front there. On this one we're going to do a third option, and you can literally spend all day trying different options for this. So on this one we are going to, again, we're on our roof one, click on roof, and here I'm going to keep the same outline except for this one and this one, slope defining, and here I have a roof that looks like that. And really the big difference was I had its slope in the long direction. So this was the long side of the building, this was the short side, this one was 30 feet, this side was 40 feet, which ends up making a taller, bigger roof. The last thing that I'm going to show you within these were all 9/12 roof pitches. So I'm just going to click on these roofs, which is 9/12 is considered to be a pretty steep roof. So let's drop these down to a very shallow roof. So right now you would have enough space up here that you could use that for storage. So if I drop these all down to like a 412, which is probably our minimum for the asphalt shingles, and I say apply, it completely changes the look. Makes them look completely different. You would save a tremendous amount of money on the roof by having a shallower roof, but you'd lose any attic space, storage space, and once you get a real low slope like that, I think it doesn't look as good. So a lot of people will opt for something more like a 512 or 612, which just gives it a little bit more, a little better look. Okay, so that is those three right there. Try picking these up, moving them out of the way. This one right here. So we have basically a little bump out. So to really focus on this side I have 26 feet. So this thing's only 26 foot deep from here to here. It's really, you know, I guess 26 feet's fine for like to park a car in, but it's not a tremendous amount of room to have storage around here, have a larger sized truck. So you have this extra 4 feet in the front here. So this is really 30 feet deep where the truck and the car would be parked. So we don't really lose much, and it's about the same square footage. This building will cost us a little bit more to build because it has a couple extra corners, but it's going to be pretty comparable to the 30 by 40. We just have a couple little bump outs there. So to work on a roof for this right here, again, I'm going to go to my roof level. I'm going to look at this, and this time I'm going to do this where I have, I'm just going to go the whole way around this like this. And I basically just had those lines go the whole way around the roof. And I can hover over top of this and hit tab, select them, and you can see my slope is 912. So I could, if I define slope. So I'm going to check all those. I'm going to change this to something a little bit more realistic, like 5 or 612. I say apply. If I do this right now, I'm going to end up with hip roofs. One hip roof going into another hip roof. I can just do that, and I can look at this real quick, and I basically end up with something that looks like that. Not crazy about that look. Now the thing that I want to note, I'm going to go back. I'm going to edit the footprint. The thing that I want to note is this side right here is longer than this side. So if I change, so this is not slope defining anymore, and I change these two, that they're not slope defining anymore. Now I have a gable end here, and I have a gable end here and here, and it's sloping from those directions. So what I'd end up with is something that looks like this right there. And then if I start attaching the walls, it gives a more finished look to this. The thing that I don't personally like about this is the main roof becomes this side right here, and then you end up with this kind of goofy looking thing back here. A lot of people do this though. A lot of people like the look of that.